All right, hey quants. I'm finally coming back with a video that I mentioned I was going to do before. This is going to be the rundown of the benchmark, just comparing some of the different recent models since GPT 5.6 came out. I ran through some different benchmarks, and one way I did the way I did this is I actually had my Hermes agent go and run the benchmark for me, and then push up the results to a database. The way that I have this benchmark set up was that it was originally open source code, so anybody can go and use it, and that's the way I still have it. But I don't want to share my solutions with everybody else's solutions because I want people to be able to create their own solutions. So the way the database is set up, it's not really gonna hurt anything if somebody goes and finds that. But I have my database set up strictly for me. And then other people who want to maybe set up their own database, they can do that. And the only reason I really did that, instead of running everything locally, as I mentioned, I've been doing a little bit of traveling. And most of my work I do on a much beefier machine with this desktop machine with the 5090 graphics card that I bought before prices got too ridiculous. And then since I'm not taking that around with me traveling, I am using a laptop machine. And so I wanted to be able to persist some of the data that I had from those runs. And then again, as I mentioned, I just had my Hermes agents, which runs on a different machine that I have. And so that one has access to the things that I wanted to have access to. And so I let it go off and run and do its run the benchmark and then produce the results from that. And then again, I want to be able to just share those results here, but I'm doing the recording and all that on my laptop machine right now. So again, I'm also not sure how the video quality of this is going to come out. I did do a kind of test recording of this previously. I can't remember if I actually posted that to the channel, because I think I said I may or may not post that to the channel, but it was a test run to make sure that I could record on this computer without any issues. And so the biggest thing is I didn't have a database set up, and so that's what I ended up spending a little bit of time recently. And it feels like a long time, because when you're traveling and I'm not just sitting at the desk with hours of time to solve these kind of things, I've been doing it intermittently when I'm not traveling, essentially in the truck driving, or sitting around a campsite where I'm usually out with kids, doing some kind of hiking or swimming or something like that. So I will just, this is totally off topic, but I just want to mention, if you ever do end up in Glacier National Park, they have some really cool trails around there. Of course, as you might know, we went on a bike ride, and we happened across a bridge where there were some boys that were maybe 10 years old jumping off the bridge. It's about a 30-foot drop into the glacier water. I did some cold plunge stuff up at Avalanche Lake. So if you're curious about some of the areas that I was at, this is like West Glacier side of the park. Avalanche Lake was a pretty simple hike, so good for younger kids can do the hike. It's about 2.5 miles or 3 miles up to the lake, and so I did a cold plunge there. And so it's all glacier runoff, and so jumping into the river was awesome. And one of the things, if we didn't see the boys jumping off there, we would have never known that we could jump off into that area. And so the water's super clear. You can see all the way to the bottom, but when you're 30 feet up above the water, it's kind of hard when you see the bottom to know how deep that water is. And there was a deep channel there. You just kind of jump in that area, and it's icy cold when you jump in there, so it kind of takes your breath away, but it feels good. And so that was a ton of fun. So I just wanted to mention that. There's some really cool stuff to do there. As I mentioned before, we're still putting around now. In the next few days, I will end up at a location where I'll have time to just sit and do some work. And so I have a few things that I've been kind of working on intermittently that'll be coming up. So the TradingView optimizer, I think the one that works for TradingView, I think I have most of that in place. It's going to be, this is just a free thing. So if there are broken pieces, that's the way it's going to be. Just what I'd say is just hit me up either on YouTube here if you see some issues with that, but I'll just put it out there, because one of the biggest things that I have challenged with now is finding time to test everything, because I'm working on 3 to 5 different things at the same time. And I am also getting ready to, we're getting ready to go live with the U-Count, which is the website that I did a redesign for to fight against human trafficking. So getting ready to go live with that. So focusing a lot of time, just spending a lot of time setting up some infrastructure that I don't own, but I can give it to the nonprofit organization so they can own that themselves. And then, yeah, anyways, all that said, if there are bugs with the TradingView optimizer, I'm excited to get it out because it has a lot of features, and it started as a copy of one of the ones that was out there, the David Tech TradingView optimizer, that just didn't have the pieces that I wanted, and it had some things in it that I didn't particularly like. So I kind of just took that same idea, started from there, and then added all the bits that I wanted that I thought would be more useful for something like the skeleton key. And so that's in there as well. And so that'll be coming up. But anyways, without hopefully taking too long, there are a lot of different solutions that I put in here. And so let's go ahead and get into it. So I added the recent benchmarks. The original ones was the Asteroid engine, which is just a demo of the 2D game engine, native game implementation, and then Retro Cruiser, which is a web-based game. One thing, and then I created 2 more versions of that, and I had AI write up the prompts. I probably need to dig into these a little bit more, because what I noticed is Void Breaker is supposed to be the Asteroid game implementation, and both of these variations were just more extensive prompts that basically said something to the effect of go out and make the game fun and addictive so that you have a fun game to play, as opposed to just like the basic games that I had implemented myself. And I kind of wanted to see what the different models could do with that, and then compare those. The other thing that I didn't finish my point there. So with Void Breaker, even though that's a native game, what I noticed is that the implementation was all web-based and not a native implementation. So probably need to go back and say, hey, you still need to use the Asteroid demo engine. And so that way it's still using the same underlying code that I have, and you end up with a native game. So just kind of foreshadowing here, you're going to see web-based games for all of these, which was not the original intent. And so I'll have to fix those, but we still will be able to see if they were able to create games that were more fun, essentially. And then I have this results plot, which doesn't really run a plot. Again, I'll have to fix this, but the thing here, I'm not putting a ton of effort into this stuff right now. I just thought it would be an interesting thing to run with the new models. And so it ran the rubrics, or essentially tried to run the metrics itself to see how well the games performed, or the models performed on creating those games. And so just a quick glance here. It didn't get everything that it did initially, because initially when it ran these, it did it through the cursor model because it was having problems finding the native harnesses, essentially. And so I don't know why it didn't persist those. So point is, I expected to have more outputs here, so you'd have cursor variations. I also don't see the Grok 4.5 implementations here, which is unfortunate. One thing I will just note, I had a Grok 4.5 implementation, not of these new variations. I can't remember if it had a new variation or not. I'll take a look and see if it's in here, because that was over on a different machine that I haven't been over to update to the database. As I mentioned, I kind of did that stuff while I was on en route to different places here. But it looks like Cruiser Reloaded with Fable 5 got the highest reading. Looks like it was actually got 90 out of 100 on both of these for Soul 5.6 and Fable 5. And then Claude Fable 5 again. One of these might be this is for Void Breaker. So yeah, for a second there I thought it was the cursor one, but anyways, Fable 5 seemed to perform the best. I just wanted to mention, when I did the Grok 4.5 implementation, I can't remember if I showed a video of that before I left or not, and that one actually looked like I think it got everything right. There's one thing that I noticed with the native game, is that some of those games oftentimes miss the sound implementation. So there's music that plays, and most of them are missing the background music that plays, even though they get the shots firing and asteroids exploding and things like that. So anyways, let's get back over to the implementation as well. And so this could be a rather long video. I don't want it to be too long, so I'm going to try and rush through some of this. And so this first one here, I'm going to go back over to the Cruiser Reloaded version. So again, this is the web-based game. And then we'll just take a quick look at the models based on date. So 7/21, this was 7/10. So that was before I left, so I'm not even going to bother looking at that one. And what I want to do is I'm just going to launch this. It's on, and so it's on port 5173. I'm just going to open them all, or open all of these so I can hopefully run through them quickly. 7/21. This first one was Codex. So this is the Soul implementation. So that's that first tab. The next one will be the Fable 5 implementation. And it looks like it launched on the wrong port here. So this might break some stuff. Let me see. I think I pulled some stuff in here. I think what I want to do, just to make sure this isn't going to break some stuff, I'm going to stop this one. I'm going to stop this one because it should have launched on different ports, which it was doing. But we'll just go one at a time if that's the case. So again, back to the Soul. We're going to launch it. There could just be a bug here where this isn't updating. And so this should already be right. And so the game here looks pretty good. So you got Burn, Flux, Break the Blockade. And I haven't played any of these. So this first sight is the same thing that everyone else, you're seeing what I'm seeing for the first time. Hold shift to overdrive ram, debris, fire faster, score bigger. So hold shift, space, space or Z to fire, and then you got your WASD arrows. Have never been very good with that, so we'll just try it anyways. So looks like escape pauses, P and escape pauses. So if I play the game, looks like it's got some unlocks so you got a little bit of gamification aspects here where you can level up, begin the store. I can hear this level. I'm gonna abandon the run because one thing that I noticed, and I hear the game music for the end, is that I just want to check. Okay, I don't have the desktop volume turned off. And I'm going to turn that way down because last time I know I did that and I didn't test it this time. So I'm going to turn the gain way down on that and I'm going to turn it on. No promises that you're going to be able to hear it very well. But I'm going to try to just barely turn it on and hopefully it just doesn't totally dominate my voice. So I have the gain way down on that. And let's go ahead and launch it again. We're going to go back to the beginner. And then shooting. It's spinning. That's kind of an interesting. So the animation's messed up here for sure. Yeah, you see the thrusters in the back aren't going. It looks like some of these things. Oh, scrap. Okay, those things can get blown up. Cool. Build the cruiser. Okay, so now I get some kind of an unlock. Hot swap one module. Build the cruiser. Ion lance. +2, so let's see, fork cannon, +2 angle bolts, +40 bolt damage and piercing, kills, return 2 flux, drive longer. Oh, okay. These are kind of interesting concepts, man. I'm loving this already. But let's do the wider, more heat. Let's just do the damage. Oh, and I got it. And one thing I will notice, I think it was a health thing that hit that unlocked it, which is interesting. So yeah, also these graphics concepts, looks like I'm maybe running out of fuel or something. I don't know what that hit was. Boom. Oh, I got hit hard. Okay, so kills, return, drive longer, salvage restores more, wider lanes. Let's try this. Yeah, there we go. I like this better. Now I get a little bit bigger. What I was going to say is I thought I'd got one of these health things, and the health thing is what unlocked that, but it might have just been these scrap pieces that I was picking up at the same time. So what's interesting here is these graphics some of these graphics are new graphics that I never had in the game originally, and so it just made these graphics up, which are really cool. So restore more, blood capacitor, greed. Let's do greed turbine. I don't know what that's going to do, but let's see if we can collect all these things. Bam, 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 bam. All right. Well, I will say this game is pretty fun. much more fun than the other ones. Still like 2D scroller style. So these are cool. I'm liking it, but it's not very hard yet, which is okay because I mean I'm just starting off. This is level 1. If I was going to keep going, then you know I'd want some time to be able to play this game. And so I mean the other game I never really played a whole lot because it would eventually it would, you know, it's very repetitive. And so this, and not that it's not repetitive to be honest, but you're still getting some, you're still getting some more excitement here with the different bullets being fired at you and not just running into enemies. So my hole is dying. I got this guy here. I wonder if I hit one of these mines. I kind of want to die now because again, I said I didn't want to take the video forever. Oh, man. And so let's see if I can hit one of these. Boom! My hole is pretty strong, it seems. Taking a lot to die here. Boom. Bam. Explosion. Okay, one more run. Plus 20 live achievements. Got some achievements here. You know what I should do? Let me go back because I did this last time and I hope my face wasn't too much in the way. It looks like my face is down here to the bottom. So I'm going to try. I don't want to totally hide my face, but hopefully that doesn't get blocked in the other one. So 120 kills. Well, this is cool. Yeah, I like this. I got both previous runs. It looks like. So breacher sector. Nope. I think this is just one run. So I don't know if it saved the other ones. Title, launch run. Yeah, this is cool. So anyways, let's go ahead and stop this one and we'll go back. That was a lot more fun than the original one, I would have to say, hands down. I didn't see anything obviously wrong with that one. But again, this is like a new concept. I wasn't really giving it much basis. So how do you say it's wrong when you just tell it to do whatever it wants? This version is the Claude Fable 5. I don't know if this is going to run immediately. There was a bug with it syncing up to the database. And so it would be unfortunate to not have a nice clean run with Fable 5 because Fable... Okay, well, my computer just crashed. I got through part of it, but luckily I caught it because my computer just crashed, but some of that video was preserved. So this is going to be a little bit jerky with the implementation here, or the video quality here, but I just wanted to go in here. So I launched this Fable 5 game. It did work. Originally there was an issue, but that had to do with the persistence layer that I had put in place and not actually the way the code was implemented. So there was this hanger implementation. You have to unlock, and I'm going to try and talk a little faster to get through these. So you have to unlock different planes here, which is kind of cool. They have a how to fly. The how to fly data is the same as the previous one, so I haven't really looked into the prompts for these because I just had AI create some of the prompting for this, and so I will look at that at some point in the future. But I believe the controls are probably something that's embedded in that prompt because it has the exact same ones. Greed pays, usually the long dive, so the tank is the clock. Yep. And so same concept. Let's go ahead and see if we can start playing here. It's now one thing I'll say, hopefully the volume on this game isn't totally overwhelming my voice. I'm going to turn the volume down just a little bit here. And then it's automatically shooting, which is kind of interesting. The fuel is burning down whether I use it or not. I don't know if you just saw that, but some of the stuff just disappeared entirely. Adds rear facing gun, scrape crane, plate weld. Let's go ahead and do this one. And so I didn't try that thruster here. So there's the thruster. Look at that. And the fuel bar jumps up. So that's kind of cool. Yeah, so that's neat. But it's automatically shooting. Can I drone wing on score? Can I launch faster? Interesting. My fuel is going to run out super fast on this one. So the background looks really good. I like the kind of little parallax effect that they have on there. I'm out. Gun refit. It didn't like drop me out of the sky and totally kill me or anything. So I got some weapons here. So I don't know. There's some fuel right there. That was the fuel fills you up quite a bit, which is nice. I'm not. But I didn't die when I ran out of fuel. So I think that was kind of like a bug in the code there. I would say the actual implementation, a lot of this is cool. I like some of the elements here. If I was going to create one of the games, I'd probably take one from both, but now it's firing faster based on that power up I just did. So I do wonder if there's some, there was a sprite sheet that I had in here. So I said I didn't have some assets for the game. I guess maybe I should have said I didn't use some assets from the game. It looks like it pulled some of those from the sprite sheet that was there. So new flight record, fly again, hangar, title. I'm not going to keep going in here to play again. I'm just going to jump back to the title. We're going to go back and we're going to kill this one. That one was good. I would have, based on the way things were, let's go ahead and stop that. Based on the rubric that we had for which one did better, I would have said that Codex's implementation was better. However, there was definitely elements of that Fable 5 implementation and some of the assets just look better. And so that, I think, plays into what I typically see from something like Anthropic versus GPT. However, I have heard some other people kind of changing their opinions about how Fable 5 has been now implementing code better than GPT, which in my experience, when it was Opus days, GPT 5.5 was implementing code better, and then Opus was just better designing good-looking UIs. And so, not that it was bad at implementing things, it just wasn't as good. And so I would typically implement things with GPT and then use Opus as a pass for design, or vice versa. But with this benchmark, I would say things still kind of laid out that way. Although there were some cool things with Soul, like the X-wing spinning like that. That was kind of a cool effect. If the sprite looked a little bit different, so it had a rotation animation, you could see it was trying to make it look like a rotating animation. The animation for the sprite sheet didn't actually look like that, but if you would have had a rotating sprite animation like that, that would have been really sick, I think. So, all right, so now we're looking at Terra. And so Terra, I didn't do Luna because Luna is like the low-level model. And so Sonnet was in there. Did we do Sonnet? I didn't launch this one. This was on the 10th, though. And so I'm not going to do that one because I believe I might have already messed around with that. That was kind of the first test case of did this thing work. I stopped those, started this one. Should be the same one. So if I refresh this page, it should have launched, but it didn't. So running, it is running. Let's see. Jumping in here from here. Okay, so this looks different. You got the scout selected, click to select salvager, locked, so same concept. So again, I think in the prompting there's probably some extra guidance in how these should be implemented, and we're seeing some similarities between these. Oh, that looks terrible. I mean, it doesn't look as good, hands down. But, and there's some artifacts here that are just weird. Boom, see. But the playability of this, hull breach, salvage. I didn't see the collision detection. Didn't kind of hit there. Oh, and for some reason going forward isn't always working. Bam, you got to be the collision detection, I guess, is okay. Just looks a little funky. So plasma core, let's just do that. I'm gonna crash into a few more things. Yeah, the forward backward movement. So there's a bug, you can't see it on screen, but when I try to go forward, new career best, click for hangar, space. Yeah, so I still didn't unlock anything. Looks like maybe I have to get 1200 to be able to unlock something. What I was going to say is it looks like I couldn't go farther forward. Let me I'm curious actually if that's just a limitation on it. Yeah, so I thought it was you couldn't go forward, but this won't let me go farther forward than half the screen, which is, I guess, a decision. I don't like the decision, but that's the way it is. So, all right, we're going to go ahead and I'm just going to kill this one from here. Stop it. Those were all the ones for Cruiser Reloaded. And then let me just make sure. I think hopefully the video quality is coming out okay, because it looked like it was kind of jerky on some of it. But I didn't hear any music on that one. I had the volume kind of down a little bit, but let me turn it up a little bit. Well, might be a little loud. So let's go over to Void Breaker. And then the thing I mentioned about Void Breaker is that it was launching these. So Claude, Sonnet, Reasoning Default. All right, let's go ahead and launch this one. It was launching it in a web interface instead of as a native application, which is not the way I want it to work. But similar idea. Shift. I didn't do shift on the other one. I need to remember to do that one. You got the different modes here. Daily seed run. That's kind of interesting. I think that was something it created so that it could test it, so the AI could test it itself. You got these things to unlock here. You cannot move around it. Oh, there you go. Yeah, you can. How did I do that? There we go. So you can move forward. Okay, yeah, this is actually kind of like what you'd expect Asteroid to be, right? And so with that typical Asteroid game, you rotate and then you can only thrust one direction. So that's kind of interesting. And then got to go this way. Do I get a boost if I shift? I can't tell. Oh, what was that? I kind of want to get over there and touch it, right? Don't you? What did that? Oh, I got to stay in there. Oh, yeah, that's kind of cool. So that was fun. All of these have been more fun, right? So screen's shaking like crazy. If I fly again, I got boosts, weapons. I don't. Okay, I do hear music. So I'm going to turn that back down a little bit. There is some background music playing. I'm going to turn it up a little bit so I can still hear it. Well, but it makes the explosions pretty loud. So I would make the music and the FX individually adjustable. So if you notice, there's some different rapid. Oh, now I shoot faster. Okay, cool. So yeah, there. I wonder what that blue thing is. Let's see. As with typical asteroids, boost. So that was a boost. Yeah, so I still have my boost. If I shoot and then I shift, I do go faster. So that's kind of cool. These, yeah, definitely some improvements here. And you can go backwards. You don't see any thrusters when you go backwards, but you can go backwards. I got my score up there. Wave 3. That's an interesting. Yeah, so this is cool. This is a pretty cool game. Pretty typical asteroid style game now. I'm just going to try and let myself die. All right, we're going to go to the title screen. We're going to end this one. And so that was Claude Sonnet. Pretty good for Claude Sonnet. All right, so let's see. This is Soul. All right, and again, it's. I wonder if it. I don't think this one stopped. It didn't stop. Let me stop that one because I don't want my computer to crash again. Although I didn't do that last time. Problem loading the page. Maybe it stopped all of them. So let me stop this one, and then let me relaunch it. So this was again the Soul. I'd be disappointed if I don't get a chance to test this one. Void Breaker. Yep. So Hunt. Close, cash out, live. You got the same ideas. Viper, Bulwark, Wraith, Breach the Void, How to Survive. So Fly and Fire, Feed the Rift. Okay, so that's staying in the middle there. Phase Dash, Shift Tears. You say shift. Oh, tears you safely through danger and weapon heat. 2 charges regenerate, dash through enemies to damage them. Oh, so you can like charge through them. I wonder if you could have done that on the other one. Collect violet scrap to level your core. All right, understood. Let's try this one. So, oh yeah, so this has some weird, some weird behaviors. So I'm in the middle here. I can't really turn around. I thought I was going to rotate when I was pushing these, but I'm just kind of like fishing around here. This is a poor implementation. The graphics actually look pretty good. Is it Oh, there we go. So this one, okay, so I thought you couldn't turn, but the reality is this one's just a little different. Okay, you see that? That was the shift. Watch, shift, bam. That's kind of interesting. Shift, shift. Can I blast through them? Yep. But you can't do it all the time. Okay, so so just a difference of controls. It looks like I'm out of firing power. So there's something weird with the firing power there that you need to be able to do that. This is still a pretty more fun game. I mean, it's a good starting point. The graphics don't look terrible. I mean, the graphics actually I think look pretty good. I like these bullets. These bullets are pretty sweet. And so it looks like there's a cool off somewhere. Oh, reactor heat. Okay, so you got the reactor heat. That's what's causing the delay. So you do that. And then, so it's pretty interesting. And then I wonder if I can get up there. Bam. Ternary. Oh, trinary array. Echo drive. Phase lance. 25% faster. Let's try more damage. Yeah, there we go. And then I'm still going to run out. Yeah, this, okay, so now I've got the controls down a little bit now, and I will say this actually is pretty cool. So it took me a little second to get used to it. I wasn't really sure what I was doing. The thrusts that you're seeing here is the same controls. There's a little bit of back thrust there you can see, but maybe that's when I was complaining about the idea that there was no thrust when you go. So this one, it's a little bit interesting because I would expect W to still be my forward thrust, and it's not. It's just always up, and so it's just kind of an interesting idea, but it's and then like A is going to always be to the same side, so it's confusing, I would say, but so maybe not so intuitive, but not not terrible, and it's a unique style, I will say. So, and the graphics here look really good, I think. So most of the, well, I say that, but these asteroid clusters look like blocks of because they pulled the sprites from the wrong spot and they didn't put the sprites together correctly. So that's definitely a negative that happened here, because it's not rendering these sprites as asteroids as they should be. These looks like clusters of asteroids, but they should just be individual asteroids, and it looks like they just messed up how it chunked up the sprite sheet, or that part of the sprite sheet. So let's go ahead and close this one. So that was Soul. Gonna close that, and then this one we're looking at Terra. So let's go ahead and launch that. Should be the same URL. Gonna get there. Dive into collapsing, how to play. Yep. Stay near the rift to charge your multiplier. So I didn't do that on the last one. Maybe I should have tried that a little bit, but and then it explains the different enemies. So begin your run. Ooh, this does not look as pretty. Oh, you got the same type of controls here. So it's overdrive, scatter, magnet, pulls from much further away, splits into a bolt, overdrive. I'm always going for shots. Let's do this magnet one. There we go. Yeah, that's pretty cool. So now, okay, armor. Now, and same idea with the controls. So I wonder if that's in the prompting. The controls always seem to work the same way, which is an interesting concept. This one obviously does not look near as pretty. And I saw it looked like you're running out of options there. Choose a module, level 7, make it count. And there's no more modules to pick. So there's a bug in the game there, and I can't even select anything. So it looks like I'm probably in a stuck state for this one. The UI is not as good. The play actually felt fine. Terra, not so good on this one. Controls seemed fine. Actually, now that I know them, I'm not sure if it was just because I didn't know how to use them the first time and it was disorienting, but that one, the controls felt fine. And then this one should be Fable 5. And let's see what Fable 5 does with this one. And so this is the first one that I launched, was from the date. I'm just checking the dates here. 21. So I don't think I tried to launch this one. It was from 10. And so this was Fable 5. But this is the original concept. And so it did a native application with that one, or should have. I'm pretty sure I already showed this. One thing that I will notice that with the Fable models, they're getting simple things like the favicon stuff that you should just have. So the contrast here isn't great, but the UI here looks pretty darn good. LMB space fire. Got the thrusting. We'll see the dash. I didn't try the dash with the other one. And so let's go ahead and launch the game. So same. The thrust, yeah. I like the thrusting on this because you see how the thrusting's coming out where I push, and that's how I would expect that to work. And so the bullets. What's interesting here? Oh, that's cool. So they break up into smaller pieces. That's cool. Whoop. It's going to take some time to get used to those type of controls. That in itself is just kind of an interesting challenge to have here. And so, yeah, this could be very fun. I could see this being very fun. So there's like that weird challenge to how you move across the screen. It's a little not quite as intuitive as I would have expected, but it probably doesn't take that long to get used to it. And so it's got the pull. Let's see what the thrust does. Oop, magnet array. Let's keep doing that. There's no. Oh wait, is there? Shove. Is it okay? If I go this way. Yeah, so you do get a little boost with shift. It's hard to feel it, honestly, but I can tell it's there, or I'm just speeding up. Yeah, I don't think there's a boost with this one. I don't think you have the boost that I was expecting. I'm not seeing any burnt. There's heat. Okay, so you still have the heat coming up here. Dash. Oh, wait, is there a dash? Did I miss how you're supposed to dash? Because I'm not seeing it here. I might need to go back and take a look at the controls because I'm not feeling the dash here. Okay, so right click dashes, but I missed it. Let's see, there we go. So there's dash. So with dash, you have to do a right click. I just missed it. I was expecting the same controls since they all have been basically the same, and that was not. But this is, yeah, again, pretty fun. I think I was having a little bit more fun with the phaser versions. The UI here looks really good. There's some nice elements here. The explosions don't look like the explosions that I had used. The physics around that pole is great. Most of the math for that kind of stuff should have been in there. So I don't know that it did anything magical there, but it's, I mean, nice that it used that concept. So just to make things look smooth. And then if I try to miss one of these, like if I try to run from it, running, it still catches me eventually, which it should. So, I mean, that's pretty cool. So, yeah, this is a fun game. So, yeah, I definitely see Soul doing some great things and then Fable doing some great things on these. As I mentioned before, this is just another plug. If you have similar ideas or concepts, you should totally try it. This stuff is pretty fun. I'm getting a kick out of this already to see what else the newer models might come up with. Let's see. I got 1 life. Okay, I see 3 lives down in the bottom there. Boom, this should be it for me. Oh, if I can hit it. Wow, that collision there should have happened. So a little generous on the collision detection, but that's okay. Boom, that was a nice explosion for the ending there. I really like that. So I will say Fable 5 definitely has it with the UI. There were some benefits I saw to Soul in terms of the actual implementations for some of these, but for this particular game, I think that I don't know, there was some with Soul that I thought were pretty awesome, the way they did the void back in that. So again, with both of them, I see elements for different things, and I would want to combine both of those. Man, this was fun. So again, I have this concept up here, so if you guys want to play with it, you totally can. You're not going to get my solutions. Not that I care if I were to give these away or anything like that, but I just want to be able to have my own consistent solutions I can run across everywhere. And I didn't put in a lot of work to make this like a whole product. So the code is out there to be able to use it, and you have the starting plates for these particular games, but maybe you have your own things you want to throw in there and try. Yeah, this is a lot of fun. Let me just get back over here so I can properly end. And that will be it for today. Hopefully that was a good time and people enjoyed that since I've been out for a while. I definitely enjoyed going through those. And when there are new models, I'll continue to run these through. And when I'm on my larger workstation, hopefully the quality will be a little bit better than that. But that's going to be it for today. We'll catch you on the next one. Peace, quants.